All right, we are back with another special edition. Our special guest is a singer and writer and a performer. And we're going to be talking about the connection to her and the legendary Redbone song, Come and Get Your Love. Please welcome Annika Bellamy.
Hi guys. It's really
Annika,
an honor
welcome,
to be on
welcome.
here.
You know, I I love the 70s, and Come and Get Your Love was one of those AM radio songs. When I would drive with my parents before I was able to drive a car myself, um, I would always try and tune to the AM, top 40 station. And, you'd hear a song like this and it would just be electric. Um, and I'm very much a music historian in addition to being a promotion man for the last 50 years. So I've been around a ton of artists and great, great songs. So I've always wanted to get behind and get the story on Come and Get Your Love. Of course, it's a song by the Mexican Native American rock band Redbone. Came out in January of 74. What a great year. And Lolly Vegas was the writer, and Lolly and his brother Pat Vegas were the producers. So it came out on the Epic record, which was part of CBS, which is now Sony. And wow, what an incredible tune. The single version, 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Now, your father is Pat Bellamy. No, I'm sorry, Tony. Tony Bellamy.
My uncle, he's
Your
my
uncle, I'm sorry. Your uncle is Tony Bellamy, rhythm guitar, piano, and backing vocals. And then the two Vegas brothers and Butch Valera on drums. Um, when did you first hear the song and kind of understand what your father was a part of?
so it's really funny growing up, your uncles and your family members are your family members, and I didn't really know that my uncle was anything special or legendary or a rock star until actually my father had my Uncle Tony, my late Uncle Tony, come to show and tell and do his little native dance for all of our friends. And once that happened, and I was totally like, okay, so you're a rock star and you're awesome. And so from then on, music was always encouraged, and on the Bellamy side, we have a whole bunch of entertainers. And then later on, I came to find out that the song "Come and Get Your Love" was a part of Redbone. So you hear it frequently in commercials, on Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a really popular movie. And that's when I really realized the impact my uncle had through generations, and that still carries.
Yeah, it is an extremely recognizable riff. You hear the guitars, it has an amazing kind of groove to it. And then you see imagery of the band and you realize, wow, they are Native American and Mexican. So there's a lot of history um, coming together in the band. And of course, this was their third album. I was kind of surprised researching this that the a lot of times a band gets signed because they have a hot song, and then it comes and goes, and maybe they get another record or two and get dropped. But this was, no, I'm sorry, their fifth album, Wovoka. Wovoka, that is a wild name. I'm sure it's Native American. Their fifth album in '73. So they um, they had quite a history before this song came out, and I am really curious what Wovoka means. I know it. The album is named after the Pute religious leader Wovoka, who founded the Ghost Dance movement. That's very interesting.
It
And
is so
and
interesting.
is it, do they perform this ghost dance in
Um,
the video or
so
the live?
so my late Uncle Tony, there is a couple performances where they start chanting and he comes out and he does his little dance. So I'm assuming that's rooted towards them and everything that they were pushing for the album. So yes, they do. If you search in YouTube, he's the one in blue that dances around. Like I said, he came to show and tell, and he did a little dance for the kids, and everyone was just fascinated by it, myself included. And that's when my curiosity really started. And I was probably about like 5, 6 years old at the time. So, and in drum circle. But yeah, I believe so. But I would believe that those two are tied together.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's very, very interesting looking into the history of some of these songs that we know. And like you say, current generations might see it in a big movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, and you hear it on a TV commercial. So much of those infectious, catchy songs from the 70s are now in commercials besides the
Yeah,
movies
yeah,
because, people in their 50s and 60s immediately, when they hear the first notes of the song in the commercial, immediately draws you to the television.
yeah, absolutely. It just makes it feel good. It definitely is a song that everyone kind of just, hey, I know that song, and brings people together, I feel, and makes people feel good, and makes people really, really feel in the moment. I know whenever I hear the song, I'm in that moment, and it always raises my vibrations, makes me happy, and makes me want to get up and dance. So it's a great song.
Yeah, well,
Classic.
well, thanks to YouTube, so much of the past is available to check out. So I'm sure the band performed on shows like American Bandstand with Dick Clark, and a lot of those. They probably performed on the Midnight Special too, which was filmed right here in Burbank at the NBC studios, where Johnny Carson and the Tonight Show, eventually Jay Leno, performed. But it's really amazing history,
It is.
and
It is.
they were the first band to really incorporate that Native American ancestry into the to the stage outfits and into their live show.
Yeah. It's super honored and super respected and just I'm always blown away about the impact that they've had on the Native community, and not just the Native community, but the big um, community in music. And hopefully they'll be at the rock. Hopefully they'll be known more for generations to come because they are just amazing, talented people that really left a mark for a lot of people and always take people back to a sweet spot. So,
Yeah, well, we have a thing here at the Rock Forever Network. We call it the Rock Forever Hall of Fame, and that corporate hall up there in Cleveland neglects a lot of people, and a lot of people never get their due. And we hope to honor Pat in this.
oh, that's so sweet. He would love that.
Yeah.
He really is such an amazing guy.
Well, it's really when you look at history, you look at these songs. The songs have an indelible stamp, and of course, I heard this in real time. You know, I grew up in the era of the Beatles and the Stones and Motown. So, 74. I was actually I grew up across the country around the world, but I was living in Dayton, Ohio, which was a great musical market. Of course, Cleveland is where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. Cincinnati, right below Dayton, is where Bootsy Collins and George Clinton and James Brown was signed to King Records out of Cincinnati. And you have people like Roger Troutman and Zapp and Lakeside and Heat Wave and the Ohio Players. There was an incredible funk and rhythm and blues scene out of that area. And a song like this would definitely be, right there on the charts with Ohio Players' Love Roller Coaster or Fire or one of those, great Parliament songs like Flashlight or Knee Deep, So, of course, the oldies, the funk and the oldies are heavily supported by the Hispanic community. I've been to a number of these big funk fests down in Orange County and places, and the Latinos come out in droves. They really support this music, music of the '70s, especially.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I don't know if you knew or not, but I'm actually coming out with a remake with Pat. This is the first time ever he is doing a remake of Come and Get Your Love with him on it. And we're actually having a release party at the Cult this Friday in LA with Josh Sigma, and he's going to be hosting the Q&A. And then we also have Procore Productions producing the sound for my concert. So it's going to be an amazing show. Um, Great connections within the industry and a night to remember for sure. So if
Yeah,
you want
well,
to go
tell
there,
us.
get down there and RSVP, please do. It is by invitation only. We'd love to extend that to you.
Well, we love and do everything we can in our power to be there. Tell us how you came up with the idea and how you approached Pat. How did it
Well,
go down?
so the way that we came up with the idea was, I wanted to honor my family and honor the musicians in my family and the tradition. And because Pat and I were reconnected through people in the music industry, he had so many I guess memories of me when I was little, because at my grandma's house, I don't know if it's a Spanish thing, but we kind of all come together and she would feed us all and we'd celebrate together. So he remembers me. I think I was a little too young to remember who he was, but as soon as I met him, he was reconnected with him, sorry. He was just so elated to see me and how I've grown up and just so loving and like an uncle. And I had a conversation with him about doing a song, and without hesitation, he wanted to be a part of it. And from my understanding, there's been multiple people that have tried to do the song with him and be a part of it. And it was just not even without a question. He wanted to be able to honor my Uncle Tony and felt honored that I wanted to be a part of something so big that's carried along with him in his life and because we are family. So, yeah, that's kind of how we came up with it. We our worlds collided again through mutual people through in the industry, and from then on, Pat has always embraced the idea and without hesitation and just been so loving towards me and as a young adult and really wanted me to succeed in music and carry it on.
Well, yeah, it's always something great to hand it down to the next generation and see music, go through different eras and still come out. Of course, with the inclusion of the song in movies and TV commercials, the music never dies.
Never.
But unfortunately, Pat is the only living member of the original Redbone band.
Yeah.
His brother Lolly, who, of course, wrote the song, played lead guitar, electric sitar, and lead vocals. Now, that's an interesting part of their sound is the sitar that Lolly plays along with the electric guitar. It
It
definitely
is. It is.
it gives it that otherworldly kind of feel.
Most definitely. Most definitely. The sitar, it's such a cool instrument. When I was recreating the song, um, and putting it in the song, at first I was kind of like, this is so unique. Should we do something a little more different, or should we use a sitar that is something that is popular? And of course, we couldn't let go of that signature sitar, and it became better. So the song was even better with the sitar in it, and it's probably my favorite instrument used. I know that's really something typical to say, but the sitar just makes it. So makes it come and get your love.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you can't, you know, and love the song, you can't get a second or two into it and you immediately know what it is.
Absolutely. Give me
So,
1 second. I hear a little bit of beeping in the background.
yeah, so identifiable. And I've met some of the members over the years. You know, I've been a promotion man for 50 years. So I do remember an event. Somebody came up to me and they were introduced by a friend of mine. They said, yeah, he plays in Redbone. And I, I don't believe it was Pat. So I'm assuming that it was a later member of the band. Is
Yeah, we've had a multiple fill-ins since then, but the originals are Lolly, Butch, Tony, Pat himself. So yeah, we've had a lot of people that have been able to fill in and everything,
I'm
but the
sure.
original, the last one standing is Pat. So he's
Hmm.
he's doing he's standing strong, and he's really excited for the release party this Friday.
And does Pat continue to perform as Redbone?
Um, I don't know the last he's performed. That's a Pat question.
Okay.
But as of right now, I know that he makes a lot of appearances, and
Okay.
we just had the first Redbone Festival last month, which was super super sweet. A lot of people came together, sang, and it was amazing. So
Where was that held at?
that was held in, oh my goodness, I can't remember. It was um kind of close to Vegas. It was in California, but it was close in Vegas. I can't remember what the city was, but if you Google
Probably
search it,
Barstow.
I wouldn't say Barstow. Where was it held? My
Was
goodness.
it this side of Barstow? That would be Victorville, Apple Valley area.
Probably, let me see.
Because Barstow is like halfway to Vegas.
It was in Victorville, Victorville for sure.
Victorville, yeah,
Yeah,
that's about an hour and so into the ride,
yeah, that's where it was,
Vegas.
Victorville for sure.
Okay. Well, that's incredible. And do they do that on an annual basis or just every?
No, it was actually the first Redbone Festival ever. So they had a whole bunch of different bands do tributes to Redbone, and we got to play clips of his 70th birthday, which was super sweet, and just kind of go back on some of the shows that they did all together as Redbone. And then I actually sang a song there myself for them, and they had a lot of students involved because I think it was definitely a school that was hosting the Redbone Festival. So, it was an amazing experience for everyone that attended. There was probably around 70 or 80 guests there.
Wow. Yeah. I wish I knew about that. That sounds incredible. But of course, Friday and I'm going to bring a special guest with me and we plan to be there and look forward to meeting and speaking to Pat and hopefully networking with fellow lovers of this music. And of course, hearing the premiere of your new version of Come and Get Your Love.
Yeah, it's gonna be an amazing night. Definitely a night to remember and a night to come and get your love.
Well, that is incredible. And as far as social media goes, where can people follow you as a singer yourself?
You can follow me on almost any platform at Annika Bellamy, at Annika.Bellamy on Instagram. That's where I do a lot of my networking. But if you Google search my first and last name, It should be able to pin you to where I am located, whichever platform you use the most, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Threads, all of that. But I'd love to get connected with all of you guys that are listening. Yeah, I hope you guys can follow my journey and see where everything goes.
Yes. Well, I know the song is also in Avengers, in game Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Netflix as a sitcom, If It's for Family. So many.
Mhm.
Get to know the song. If you don't know it,
Yeah.
follow
The
Annika
link,
for her version.
yeah, also the link is on my website to RSVP. Um, so make sure you guys check it out, okay?
Well, we appreciate you giving us the story, not only behind the original, but of course, your remake. Our special guest is Annika Bellamy, the niece of Tony Bellamy, the guitarist, piano, backing vocalist, along with the Vegas brothers, Lolly and Pat and Butch on drums. All hail the mighty Redbone. Thank you so much for joining us. We look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you soon and talking to Pat about this classic song. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon.